Beginning review, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Um, I decided to go back onto Like a Dragon because there's not much left in terms of non-Yakuza games that I have, and the ones that I do have, I really don't want to play. Um, I'm not gonna say what they are, but it's basically free. Excuse my stomach there. We're just gonna say it's free games. It's more than that, but it can be broken down into free games basically. Two of those games are because they're very long, and the other one I just really cannot be bothered for some reason. I'm not exactly sure. So I decided, fuck it. It's been long enough. I've gone through so many games. Um. So yeah, just might as well come back. Um. My opinion on the game so far is I don't get the hype. While the turn based combat is refreshing, it also feels like a step back because something that's annoying in all of the games is the fact that encounters and all are excessive, and in the other games, because it's real time combat, you can just run away and you just don't have to deal with it. But with this, unless there is a runaway button, which I'm going to assume that it'll probably work like Pokemon, where running away isn't always successful. I don't like that. Which means that really the only option is to do the fight. And even though, yeah, because they're all like level 1, you you defeat them in one hit, it's still just. It slows the game way down, and it's not going to be fun. Um, my enable my nose. My opinion on Ichiban is that he is nothing special. I know, like obviously, it seems to be that a lot of people prefer him over Kiru, and I thought, right, I probably will disagree with that, but maybe I will still love Ichiban. I don't like. I seen someone saying, "Oh, after playing only the first chapter, I love Ichiban," and the game is amazing. And it's just the game isn't amazing, like because all you've done is the story. The story so far isn't really anything special because it's just setups that I'm not going to understand until much later down the game because it's a Yakuza game. That's just how it works. Um, the turn based is not that good in my opinion, and Ichiban just isn't all that interesting. The only thing that I really kind of like about him is the fact that he's voiced by the guy that voices Gojo in JJK, the English dub. um, this game kind of feels like a remake of Yakuza 1. Excuse my stomach. Because I knew this before I went into the game because I accidentally got it spoiled. I saw something on Instagram. I first played the game in 2023. Um, I realized that I had it, and like I played Kiwami One when it came out on PS Plus, and it was at a time when I was just going through all the games on PS Plus, and just I was wanting to not like them, so that I can just delete them and move on. Um, and that's what I did with Kiwami One at the time. And then I realized, oh shit, I actually have another Yakuza game. And I looked it up and I saw actually it's different because it's turn based and it's got an English dub and all that. So I played it and I thought, okay, yeah, it's quite interesting. um, And then when I went back to the other Yakuza games, and I was thinking about like what I had seen in like a Dragon thing, like kind of weird. I thought that bar he goes to at the start of the game in the Champion District was Earth Angel or Shallag, one of the two. I was thinking like I thought that was the sort of base. Like if imagine that the fuck what's the name of the place? All of a sudden can't remember. The bar from the first game on or not from the first game, but from the Kiryu series on the left side of the map. Like imagine if that's the sort of HQ of Kiryu. I thought this was the HQ of Ichiban. I'm thinking like, why the fuck would you put it there? But it's not. But yeah, the game just seems like a remake of Yakuza One because he goes to prison at the start, which that's another thing I want to mention. I knew that there'd be a time jump because obviously from the cover art and literally every other photo I've seen of Ichiban, he has long hair, whereas in chapter one he has short hair. I didn't know it was him going to prison until I got that spoiled for me. I thought it would have been a coma. But it's not just that, it's also the fact that he's an orphan, kinda like Kira. And I'm sure there's other similarities. And something else that I mean, I don't know what direction the game's gonna go in, but there was some dialogue in chapter one that sort of makes it seem like Ichiban's gonna go in the. Sorry about that. But there was some dialogue about him wanting to be heroic and all that, and there was a scene where he's going to collect some debt, but he's like, "Oh well, the boss just asked for his wallet. They didn't actually ask for the money inside, so I'm just going to return the money to the guy." My throat like I need to clear it every 5 fucking words. And while it's nice to have him have a heart, it's just not what I was expecting. I thought that they were thinking, right, we made a game called Yakuza. I guess I know it's not called Yakuza in Japan, but whatever. But we made a game called Yakuza, and you're not, with the exception of Yakuza Zero, you're not really a Yakuza in the game. Like you're a good guy, you know, and it's just I would kind of like to see a game where you're a proper Yakuza. Yes, Zero does still exist, but you know, so it's just like I will start tweaking if there's a Haruka type character in the game. That's another thing I think I might have spoiled for me. I think Haruka is in the game. I'm not sure. That's not confirmed. Something else isn't confirmed that I think I got spoiled for me is that Kiru is in Infinite Wealth and quite possibly this game as well. There's a character with grey hair in a sort of fringe that might be Kiru, but I'm not too sure. And I'm trying to like sort of tap dance around it so that I don't get it confirmed for me. But yeah, so far the game isn't really impressing me. Like there's not a single thing in the game that's an improvement over the previous games. Anyway, Dune Prophecy, the HBO original series. I watched it on Sky. Emily Watson, Mark Strong, Shirley Henderson, apparently. and also Mark Addy. I'm not too sure what's going on in the show, to be honest with you. I get that Emily Watson's character is like the sort of founder of that sisterhood that appears in Dune One. Like there was that girl with the box that Paul had to stick his hand into, and I'm pretty sure Emily's character is the first person to ever have like the voice. um, Something I find weird is that they've added something to this that wasn't established in the films. Now I'm not too sure if these are canon to the films, but because they're coming out at the same time, at the very least, even if they're not related in any way, there still is. It's impossible not to make the comparisons. Like I can watch Dune 1984 and this. I'm not going to compare the two. I can watch the Dune show from 2003, I think it was, and compare it to this. I won't be able to compare it to this, but Dune movies, part one, part two, they come out around the same time. Comparisons are impossible not to make. um, I think if you like the movies, you like this because it is basically just the same. It's mostly talking, very little bit of action, kind of like Game of Thrones. Well, even less so, I guess. Although this is only 6 episodes, whereas Game of Thrones was 8 whole seasons, so it's not a fair comparison in that case. But it's just it's a political thriller, not even a thriller. It's a political drama. Lots of talking. If you find it boring, then you find it boring. I don't blame you. As I said, I'm not too sure what's going on, but it's what I do understand is enough to keep me going. Um, but it does kind of seem a bit stupid. Is the only word I can think of because, as I said earlier, they added something that wasn't in the films with that character who has the ability to like burn people to death. And I get that this is based or at least inspired off of the I think it's called the Sisterhood of Dune trilogy. Um, but it's I don't know. It's kind of like the fact that Alien Earth added new aliens to it. It's like, oh, okay. Speaking of Alien Earth, universally positive ratings, FX original series created by Noah Hawley. I watched it on Disney Plus with Ginger and Dylan. Timothy Oliphant, Essie Davis. Um, to be clear, this aired 6 days ago. I watched it 6 days ago, so I'm not gonna uh, be able to speak with like a full memory. Um, I went into it expecting Fargo in space, and what I got was Fargo in space. So I really enjoyed it. The other two didn't because they don't know Fargo, they don't watch Fargo. Really, the only sort of thing I have with Fargo is the fact that I keep on mentioning that this is connected to Fargo, but they're just going to immediately forget that. So they didn't like quite a lot of it, and it almost seemed as if they wanted to not like it. Kind of like when I was saying in my Like a Dragon review that I'll go through a period where I will want to not like something. That way I can just delete it and move on. it kind of seemed like they wanted to just not like this so that they don't have to watch it again and move on to the next thing. But I quite enjoyed it. I like where they're going with the whole thing. I like that they've added all this stuff because the thing about Alien is that you can do kind of whatever you want with it as long as it makes sense. Like Romulus, don't get me wrong, I love that film, but the thing at the end with that white tall fucker does not make sense. Something that does make sense is, as bad as these movies are, is the alien, like the xenomorph dog from Alien 3 and the Pred alien from AVP 2, because that's the whole thing. You know, you have the facehugger that like implants the baby or the chest burster and then bursts out the chest and it grows up and be a xenomorph. But you know, most of the xenomorphs you see in the films and this show are they came from humans, but they can come from really anything. They've came from rats, dogs, the Yautja, the predators, and I'm sure that they've come from other things in the comics and all. So the fact that they've added like that eyeball thing, they've added. There's something that's hanging from the ceiling that kind of reminds me of that alien from Half Life, like the one with the tongue that you get stuck on. Um, I'm trying to think what else. So I'm pretty sure there were others, or maybe they just haven't been introduced yet. Because I'm pretty sure the whole thing is that there's 4 of them, and so far all you've seen is the eyeball. The I'm just gonna call it the plant. Kind of looks like a plant, and there is a xenomorph on there. But yeah, the dialogue is very no Holly, like it's and the randomness and all that, like with that guy that had that party. It's like a Renaissance type thing. Um, like I enjoyed all that, and they didn't. Um, Something that seems kind of random, but it being no Holly, I understand it, is the whole thing of Ice Age. Um, Wendy and Hermit sort of like have a bond over the Ice Age films, and they use that in the show. And something that the cinematography of the show is great. Like something that they show is they will show something and then someone reacting to that thing in the same shot. Like it's not like in say 24 where they'll do split screen. It's in the same fucking shot. It's kind of like the camera is inside the TV and all you see is like if what the thing is burnt into the TV screen, and then you also in the same frame see the character reacting to that thing. And they did that with Ice Age. They did that with some other things. I think it looks amazing, even if it is a little silly with the whole Ice Age thing. But it's not just gonna be Ice Age. Like as the show goes on, they do it with other things as well. So TLDR, I'm quite excited for the show. I think it's great, but it's just don't go into it being a cunt. Don't think, oh, I'm gonna not like this so that I have an excuse not to watch it. Just go on and have a good time.